Live from Easy Studios in Eddyville, Kentucky, it's time for another episode of the evolution of Survivor Strategy. We talk about Tony, Spice Shacks, and probably one of the greatest Survivor casts since Borneo. Your host, Darth. Hello, Easy Nation. Welcome to another episode of the evolution of Survivor Strategy. This is Chapter 28. We're talking about Survivor Cagayan. I mean, I said it in the little intro, but this season is such an enjoyable season to watch. I let it once you get through in the Survivor 20s after Heroes versus Villains, once you get past One World, there are some great seasons. And I really think between Survivor Philippines to Cagayan is some of the best Survivor seasons you could ever watch. So, and I'm a little sad because I'm getting ready to move on to San Juan del Sur, which that's the one Survivor season I've actually never finished because I hated the season so much while watching it. I turned it off, and I also got spoiled multiple times, and it pissed me off, so I never finished the show. But we're not here to talk about that. I'll talk about that in a week or so or longer because March Madness is scary to start. So Survivor Cagayan, the 28th season of Survivor. And one thing I like about the season is I've been listening to Rob Cesternino's. They've been talking about Survivor seasons as that's being ranked by the fans. And one thing I do agree with him is that an 18-person cast is perfect number of people for a Survivor season, and I agree with him completely on that because I just thought this season I love starting a season out with three tribes. I don't like it when we go from two tribes to three tribes, but I do really enjoy when we start the show out with three tribes. And one thing I like about the first twist of the season is brains versus brawn versus beauty. All things you need in order to win a game of Survivor. And I love how the tribes are divided. You have the beauty tribe, you have the nerd tribe, you have the brawn tribe. And, what makes any Survivor season is, as I've always said, casting. This season is, I think, the second best cast in Survivor history of all new players, because I'm not counting all the players with returning players and all that, because that's not fair. No, I'm saying all new cast. I think Survivor Cagayan is the second best cast other than Survivor Borneo. And, every person in this show, in this season, comes to play. Even some of the characters are like even the first guy gets voted out, David, who he swung for the fences. He probably knew his ears, like, he said it because I just finished the reunion show. Either you get voted out, it doesn't matter if you get voted out first or you're a finalist, you still lose. I would prefer to be a finalist over being the first one voted out, but hey, to each their own. So, the Brain Tribe, you have the Brain Tribe, and you see three players who basically survive, like, one of the worst tribes in Survivor history. And the Brain Tribe, you have Spencer, you have Kass, you have Tasha, and, like, one of the moments, like, when Garrett basically decides to have an open forum, he's like, that's why you don't tell somebody you're going home. Because Jatia takes the rice out and pours it into the fire. It's just like, holy crap. And, this kind of begins Spencer's story of being the Charlie Brown, where every time he's getting ready to kick the football, he gets the football taken away from him. So after, on the Beauty Tribe, we see Bryce get taken out. Even Bryce, I think, was a very good player, and he would definitely be a player I would love to see play again. But he gets blindsided at the Beauty Tribe, and, I think he could have made a little bit of a run. So the tribes get mixed up during the pre-merge after 4 tribal councils. Brains are basically decimated. It's a good thing they mix the tribes up. So, and then basically we have most of the brawn on one tribe along with 2 beauties of Jeffra and LJ. And Trish, like, you got to give a lot of credit to Trish, and I think Trish is probably one of the more underrated Survivor players of this season. And Trish is really the ones that create those connections for Tony, and she wants to take out Cliff Robertson. Rest in peace, Cliff Robertson, by the way. I mean, he just died, I believe it was this year, maybe it was last year. But, man, just sad to see him die not too long ago. But Cliff Robertson, he's kind of he's the head. He's got all these people wrapped around his thumb. He's got the Lindsays, he's got the Woos, and he's very charismatic, and they want to take Cliff out. Like, even Tony created this tension between him and Sarah that he overheard Cliff and Lindsay say they want to take out Sarah. And Tony's just so good at lying. But they take out Cliff, and then Lindsay quits. So I want to skip right to the merge, because I could talk about the Alexis vote. There's really no point. There's not much point talking about that vote. So we get to the merge. We merge at 11. We have the 6. We have the 3 brains. We have the 2 beauties, and then we have Sarah. Sarah is kind of placed in the middle. Then you have the other tribe. You have the Tony, the Trish, the LJ, the Jeffra, and the Woo. They're all vying for Sarah. And Sarah's like, I don't want to go with the bigger tribe who's the muscle. I want to go with the weaker tribe. And but they do a cardinal sin. You never want to feel your ally feeling the bottom. And what does Trish do? This is one of the things I think makes Trish a brilliant Survivor player, and I would love to see Trish come back and play another season. It's a moves where she is able to talk to Kass and figure out that Kass, if someone feels like they're on the bottom, they're probably on the bottom. And you can rope that person in and completely change the game up. And Trish and Kass, they vote out Sarah at 11. I mean, and then, like, they waste, and so many idols were found this season. I believe there was, like, 6 idols found. Tony found 3 of them. Garrett found that one. LJ found one. And then you have Spencer find that one. So, when Kass flips, that's when the game gets turned around. And the game is it is such a fun game to watch because, usually when one side of the alliance takes out the other, you're like, okay, so now it's going to be the pecking order. It's going to be a classic Pagongan. That's not what happens. Tony realizes he needs to use these numbers before LJ. He needs to take him out. You need to sweep the legs before they can take him out. So it's kind of the early version of using the voting block strategy that we would see in Cambodia, where he uses those numbers of the Jeremiah. He used the vote of the Spencer and the Tasha, along with him and Woo, creates this tension between finding out, to come up with this fake thing that he thinks that Woo has an idol, that LJ said, well, maybe we need to blindside Woo, and then that gives him ammunition to get his ally Woo to go with the opposing side to take out LJ. That way he has all these reasonable things, and he can go back to his alliance. And, just the idea of flip-flopping back and forth, but always having your allies that your alliance doesn't feel anti-trustful to you. You're just like, it's brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant strategy from Tony. And, Tony, just one of the greatest poker faces you'll ever see. From finding the idols. So he found 3 idols. 2 of the idols were regular idols. And then he finds what I believe Rob Cesternino does as the Tyler Perry idol. I'm dubbing it more as the Super Idol. The Super Idol, which we last seen in Survivor Cook Islands. The Super Idol can be played after all the votes have been cast. So if you're like Tony, you're voted out, bam, plays the idol. You can't play it for someone else. Only if you have the idol in your possession can you use it. So I think that's a very good way of using it. This idol, but the idol never gets played, and I don't think we'll ever see the Super Idol again. Who knows? The way Survivor likes putting these advantages out in the game, we could possibly see this idol again. So I guess I shouldn't say that. But what's great about it is Tony uses the idol as bluff. he makes one. He says, "Oh, this idol can be used at Final Four," and they're like, "Well, I don't want to vote. I don't want to vote. I don't want to take the chance." So he bluffs his way all the way to the Final Three. I mean, it's great. But then Tony makes the other great moves. And this is a strategy which would a lot of other Survivor players would use, especially Jeremy in Cambodia. And that is the shield. It's the shield strategy. This is really one of the first seasons you see this. Because Tony, he's a huge threat, strategic threat. Everyone says, if Tony gets to the end, I'm going to vote for him. Why did he swap alliances so much? If he keeps Tasha and he keeps Spencer in the game, there's always going to be a target that they want to get rid of over Tony. If he gets rid of Spencer, if he gets rid of Tasha, the first few votes after the jury begins, after Sarah gets voted out, if he gets rid of Sarah, and he just goes down the line, Tony probably doesn't win this season. So you keep these bigger threats around, and people are going to want to take out them threats before they want to take out you. It is absolutely brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant strategy by Tony's part. I truly believe, Tony, I do believe his game in Winners at War, which will be a lot more episodes before we actually get to that season. But I do think that season gameplay is superior to this. But I mean, Tony in this game, if I was going to say a weakness of his game in Cagayan, was some of his social things. He had to rely on other players to get those social connections. But the hiding the spy shacks, the bag of tricks. I mean, from an entertainment point of view, Tony is one of the most entertaining Survivor characters we have ever seen. And then I'm gonna compare him to Russell Hantz. I think he took the Russell Hantz Survivor strategy and maybe people respect the gameplay more. If Russell played in Survivor season 28, I think Russell wins. But the difference between Russell and Tony is that Tony is a little more humble and he doesn't bully as much, where Russell totally bullies. That's the reason why Russell never won the game. And Tony I think he took the Russell Hand strategy, the finding idols, getting your core little alliance, and, using other votes. I think it's great Survivor strategy, but I think Russell came up with the strategy. I think Tony perfected the Russell Hand strategy. So this season Survivor, like I said, so many great characters, from Chaos Kass switching back, causing all kinds of chaos whenever she tells him. And when Tony speaks lava, it's like, what? You don't understand English? You want to speak just lava too? Do you understand that, Butter? And you're just like, what is happening right now? This is amazing. Cagayan, one of my favorite seasons of Survivor. Like I said, I've been keeping a record of where I'm ranking these seasons, and I do think Survivor Cagayan is my third favorite season of Survivor so far. I think I go Heroes versus Villains, Micronesia, and then I go Heroes, and then I would go Cagayan. I love this season of Survivor. It's always enjoyable for me to rewatch it, and Tony, Spy Shack, bag of tricks, I'll watch it every day. So guys, that's my thoughts of Survivor Cagayan, Brains versus Bronze versus Beauty. What are your thoughts of this season of Survivor? I mean, do you think, Tony, it was a great season? I do like Kass's comparison to Woo as basically being the Fabio, and that is such a good... That just shows how much of a fan she is, that she can call that back. Guys, what are your thoughts? Comment below, let me know. And guys, I'm getting ready to start San Juan del Sur. It's going to be an interesting season to rewatch. I haven't rewatched Survivor. Never finished San Juan del Sur. I'm not looking forward to it. I didn't mind the season. It's just once Jeremy and Josh get voted out, there's just no one to root for personally. So that might be the reason why I never really finished the show. Alright guys, until next time. All too easy.